the Huskies, the favourites, in lane 3. Looking next to them, California, and then outside Princeton and Syracuse.
So, wow, what a class field we have here. Of course, we have most of our top-ranked crews occupying these 6 lanes. Washington coming in ranked number 1. We have Princeton ranked number 3. Probably our dark horse of this field, it is going to be that Syracuse boat in lane 6, who snuck into that outside lane from that second semi. But here they are, great opportunity for the orange there, going up against our Pac-12 champions in the center of the course and our defending IRA champions in the other center lane, California.
It's just fascinating to me to speculate how much, if anything, California will have come on since the Pac-12s. Talking about Coach Fransden, maybe get the tapering right for this, how competitive they're going to be against Washington. Washington have beaten Cal every time they've come up against each other, haven't they?
They have. Washington has been very consistent throughout the season, which is why we see them with that number 1 ranking by their name coming into this race as favorites. But as we know, that rivalry runs deep in those 2 center lanes, and Cal is not going to let that bother them even a little bit, because now that we're here, the slate is clean and everyone has a clear shot to the finish line here, and all those medals are going to be up for grabs between these 6 crews.
Geffen, the Bulldog stroke. Scott, the Crimson stroke. Hyde, the Washington stroke. Bell at stroke in Princeton. Fry for Syracuse. And let's not forget Burrell, the stroke of the Golden Bears, the Kiwi. How much responsibility is resting on his shoulders at the start of this race. Crew's still not quite straight yet, just last minute adjustments.
Harvard, Washington, California, Princeton, Syracuse. Attention. Go.
Beautiful squeeze on the first stroke from the Yale crew. Just if anything, looks like that might be a good start from Cal out there, just the other side of Washington.
Yeah, to my eye, it looks like maybe just our 2 crews on the far side of the course. Princeton and Syracuse were a little bit slow off the start. It's just a few seats that are going to separate those 2 crews from these other 4. But with everything to play for and the class of these crews in this event, you cannot afford to give up seats at any point in the race.
Tommy Burrell taking his Cal crew off at a pace. You can see what Coach Fransden has said to them. You've got to be competitive. You've got to lead this Washington crew. And we've seen that Washington have kept their powder dry in the semi-finals. They have an extra gear when it comes to the first quarter in this final. And that's what Washington are trying to show. But Yale on this near side, they are throwing down that first 500 metres. What a great race we have in our hands, Megan.
Yeah, that's a brave start from the Bulldogs on the near side here. You can just see the bowman coming onto the picture now. They're just riding right up with the race leaders, throwing everything in early just to see where it lands them as we get down the track. But also right with them there, that crew from Harvard as well. We're crossing into the 500-meter mark, so we're going to throw it over to Fred on the water.
All right, thanks so much. It's very tight. The only crews have dropped back at all are Princeton and Syracuse. Washington was being challenged by Cal for the lead, and now they've got a seat or 2, but Harvard is right next to them, and Harvard has 2 seats on Yale. So Princeton's got a little work to do to get back into that pack of 4, and Syracuse is a little bit back of the Tigers. Unlike the JV race, Washington has not been able to just ease away. So as they go through the 750, it's maybe 2.5 seats for the Dogs over Harvard and Cal. Harvard and Cal, I would say give Harvard a seat over Cal right now. And I would say Harvard's taking a press right here. Harvard at 38 strokes a minute. is in second. Now, Washington not dominant yet, not taking anything away yet. As we approach the 1,000, now Washington's starting to get 3.5, 4 seats over Harvard. California second. Yale would be, California third. Yale would be fourth. But the Tigers are starting to make a move themselves because the Tigers have to do something right now. 40 strokes a minute for the Tigers. Watch out for Harvard. Harvard is challenging Washington. And Harvard is taking the rating up. Oh, I beg your pardon. 30, so they took a Big 10 there. So Hayden and Washington are squeezing away from Cal. Fantastic race here between Washington and Harvard. California in third. Yale coming up to challenge Cal now. Yale could get a bronze here if they can stick in it psychologically and use the legs. 750 to go. Washington took another press. Washington is to be hard to catch. Washington 39, starting to put on and leave Harvard behind a little bit. Does Harvard have an answer?
That is a great move. That is a great move there from the Huskies just to close the door for Harvard. They must have thought that invitational race at Sarasota where Harvard got them. But what a fantastic row from the Crimson, Megan.
Yeah, they're just looking really good there in that Harvard boat, aren't they? Just working on executing this sprint to see if there is just a chance that they might be able to walk back on this Husky boat. But really look at this Husky power rhythm now, just moving away from Harvard every single stroke, leaving California and the challengers from Yale behind them to duke it out for that bronze medal, because it is really all about these two lead crews, Washington and Harvard.
250 meters to go. What have Harvard got? There's the pain on Max Hyde, the stroke of the Washington, the Husky, absolutely executing the flawless race to perfection. Mike Callahan, the coach extraordinaire, seems to have done it again. Washington in front, Yale just out of the picture for a medal, but Harvard in silver, Cal in bronze.
Yeah, it does look like Washington is just going to take this all the way down to the line. They're not going to be able to take the foot off the gas even a little bit, because Harvard is continuing to charge and push these guys all the way down the course. With this surge coming now from Cal, we're seeing them finally come to life and drive themselves back up towards the Washington Huskies. But it is going to be your 2024 IRA champions in the men's varsity 8, the University of Washington, holding off that amazing charge from Harvard for your silver medalists, followed by a great effort there
Princeton then
for bronze.
Yeah, and I think then Syracuse coming in at the back. Let's get a shot of those Washington guys.
Oops,
They
in he
are
goes.
hugging each other. Okay, that's John Wang Nordland, the Norwegian, just hugging Giuseppe Belloni, the Italian, in the 5 seat.
Here's your results. It's Washington, your gold medalist, 527.24. Silver goes to Harvard, 528.98. And your bronze medalist, California, 530.45.
You can see what it means to these guys. Max Hyde's